And I know you wear many hats too, so let us know what capacity you are testifying in today.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Chair, Commissioners, Mr. Ayla, I see Kahana, Kalel, Andrew, thank you all for being here.
Yes.
I am wearing many hats today.
Okay.
For item C1 and I think C2, I'm going to be wearing my county council hat.
Okay.
The event in Puna really forced the county to look at opportunities to provide housing for so many displaced individuals, not only Native Hawaiians, but farmers, just everyone. And we started a housing task force committee, and we began to look at our code, building code, zoning laws, and look for opportunities to accelerate housing in a very efficient and effective manner. And through that process, we identified what we call ADUs, which is additional dwelling units. In your C1, C2, you guys call them supplemental dwelling units. And there are a number of parallels from what you folks are trying to do and what the county is trying to do. So my ask actually is if you guys could begin to interface with the planning department and the public works department. We've also had the building industry come up and really fill the gap as far as creating pre-approved package homes that fit nicely into these supplemental, or what we call additional dwelling units. They are fixed at 600, 800, 1,000 square feet, which have been pre-approved by the departments. So any individual, whether it's a Native Hawaiian or just a consumer looking at a housing opportunity, it is our hope that this pre-approved package with the ADU process would allow for building permits to be secured, hopefully within 48 hours,
That's
2
amazing.
days. We've also identified some hurdles. And unfortunately, that's with the Department of Health and how we connect to our wastewater systems, whether they're individual wastewater systems or the sewer system. The other hurdle or gap that I think we need to try and close is water. And so what we want to do from the county's standpoint is manage an expectation. And that challenge is very hard. But we want to identify a process so that any consumer that comes through will understand what they need to bring to the table and what they can achieve through an additional dwelling unit process. Some of those pre-approved package homes do not include like a kitchen or a bathroom, but others do. So therein lies some of the issues, right? If you don't have a bathroom, you're not going to have to address a wastewater system or the need for water. But if you do, what does that look like? We also identified that if you are able to kind of go through the ADU process and there is an opportunity for it to be a standalone with a bathroom or kitchen, our Section 8 vouchers would be available for them. So it would kind of, what the hope is that it would be available under the Affordable Housing Criteria Guideline. Not only for affordable, but our kupuna. So we're trying really hard at the county level to smooth out those gaps and identify, how do we close that gap? And we really want to invite you folks to the table. I think this is a huge opportunity, and if done right, the private sector, along with the county, can kind of dovetail nicely into what you folks are doing. And at the end of the day, meet the mission of providing housing for our Native Hawaiians. So that's what I wanted to share. If you guys have any questions on that, I'd love to get your feedback.
Any questions for Sue? Go ahead. Wait,
Well,
Commissioner
thank you
Kahine.
so much. Good morning. Chair, remember I was sharing with you because I've been trying to get the ADU on Hawaiian homes for the longest time. Your questions, your response, the information that you shared, is that the Section 8 vouchers, you have to be detached or attached? Have to be detached.
It doesn't,
Can be attached.
can be attached. There are some provisions where and it's gonna get a little technical, there's some setback requirements between wall to wall, you need 9 feet, whether the roof line is connected or not, but those are some of the things that we're trying to smooth out so any consumer, we can meet their expectation. Because it is our hope to get a building permit to you in 2 days, but with the pre-approved package homes and hopefully the ability for some of that to be prefabricated, you can actually be in a home within 4 to 6 months, something we at the county are striving for.
And I know that those is governed by each county differently, yeah? And so that's in our discussion to try to move the ADUs and on Hawaiian homelands, I was sharing with Chair that we should be working with the counties. Why are we, drafting up our own when, everything goes through the counties? And I really appreciate your willingness, at least your foresight to see that, hey, we gotta be at the table, yeah? And I hope that we can learn from that. I guess the last question I want to ask, does all that county discussion, do you guys talk about if somebody will rent the ADU? Do you guys talk about that?
Yeah, right now that is the question, and a lot of other moving pieces that's very local to us is our transient vacation rental and getting our arms around those types of Airbnb and those types of things. So one thing I did identify in your revision to Hawaii administrative rules is that there is a requirement for the rental agreement to be at, I believe, 180 days, which is, I think, the 6-month benchmark, which actually meets what our definition is anything less than that would be considered a transient vacation rental. But after that, we consider that long-term rental. And there's some other rules that apply with landlord-tenant laws that occur at the 6-month mark. But Commissioner, I also don't want this body to forget our ability to control our zoning and not give that up. We can use what we have within our code, within our land use laws, but still maintain the opportunities for our Native Hawaiians. So I think there's a way.
I just itchy to ask just one last question. When if we would go into something like that, and then you got like the roads and the counties, we having a hard time turning it over to the county. Do you kind of understand what's the hold up on that? I know money, but
There's a lot of people here today, and if you don't mind, I would love to take that
Okay,
conversation
I will.
offline, just
Yeah.
because I want to stick to the items on the agenda, if that's okay, Chair.
That's fine.
I do have one other ask, though. I
Yes.
do need to talk to Kaleo and Andrew about 2 other things, so
Okay.
if they can come over sooner than later.
Okay. You mean, you want, in terms of having them come over to talk with you in your capacity?
Yeah.
City? Yeah.
There's a bunch of other
Okay,
things.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So.
Okay, anything else? Commissioner Ishibashi?
Thank you for coming forward with this information. It's very important that we work together on this with the county, also with OHA, also with Camp School, also with the Lili Okalani. We all should get on a table now and start talking about this issue of homelessness. Because housing is very critical right now. And the blessing from this volcano was this opportunity to have this discussion. Because it's important for our people. unacceptable, the numbers that we have on the land right now, when we should be having more on our land. So I thank you for coming forward, and how we can open the door wider to allow more discussion with different agencies. That's critical. But I thank you for coming forward, because I know the heart of the county is in the right place. I know that. You guys trying to work with us, so thank you for coming forward with this. Stick around, we'll get plenty more discussions today.
Thank you. The Housing Task Force is going to be having a housing fair. We're kind of coming up with a sexier name than that. But what we have is all of the vendors who have pre-approved package homes, a lot of the lenders, a lot of our state and county officials, and just managing the expectation of someone who wants to try and take on this opportunity of self-resolving with a home and providing an additional dwelling unit, and how we can do that. One thing that is identified is this is for residential, and that is our target group. There is a separate kind of lane we need to stick in for our ag lands, and we're addressing that separately. But again, thank you, Chair. There's a lot of opportunity. We really did see what happened in Puna, and even Hurricane Lane, we saw the need for more housing and just better opportunities to collaborate.
So thank you so much for coming up. This is the first time a county comes here and cares about our beneficiaries, and I think that's really important. But I think we need to be consistent with all the counties. And when I built my home, the biggest problem was meeting the county codes, and I had to walk through all of the requirements. So if everything can be expedited in the near future, I think it'll be beneficial to our Native Hawaiians. But thank you for coming and sharing. That's, to me, it's impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chair, and if I might respond to that, there is an active memorandum of understanding with Hawaii County on how to develop our trust lands. And I think you as a body need to revisit that, and I'll let Uncle Pat bring that up amongst a whole bunch of other things like the use of our gyms and the overnight stays for our halal and the paving of our roads and a whole bunch of other things. I'll let Uncle Pat speak to those things, but I really do stand ready to help. I am a beneficiary myself, and so whatever you folks need, I offer my office. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. We're gonna move on.